Selected 1. At this moment, someone is shaking with fear. When they see that their powerful shield has been inverted, their hands tremble. The person who ruined your reputation is going to lose all they have worked so hard to build. You weren't their victim, however. They judged you, moving around in human form, gathering proof with each breath. You were the bait that the universe used to reveal something rotten and old. Now, like a meadow, the trap has sprung, causing everyone to pause and turn a look at a single individual. Their expressions of distaste are instinctive. They're seeing what was always there, but concealed by positions of trust and sacred garb. It's not just about you being validated. You're the one who has lived to tell the story of a spiritual predator being pulled into the light. The ideal mask was worn by someone in your life. Perhaps they preached about light while standing at altars. Perhaps they sat in circles and gave advice. They presented themselves as the spiritual leader, the wise elder, and the one people turn to in difficult times. They had a perfect reputation. They spoke like honey. However, they rehearsed something that would make angels cry behind closed doors. This individual examined you in the same way as a scientist examines a specimen. With the accuracy of a surgeon, they pinpointed your weaknesses. They discovered what caused you to question yourself, what caused you to trust, and what childhood traumas you still held. They sensed an opportunity when you approached them in search of healing. They saw a danger that needed to be removed when you were genuine with them. You see, their fake shine was revealed by your natural light. Their performance seemed to be theatrical because of your sincere connection to the divine. Since you demonstrated that true spiritual power is independent of titles, robes, or manipulation, they were unable to tolerate your existence. It just is. And everything they constructed was at risk because of that reality. They thus devised a scheme so convoluted that, even as it comes to light, many find it hard to believe that someone could be that cunning. They began modestly. "I'm worried about your mental health." That's a concerning remark on your actions. They knew precisely how stories spread in tiny towns, so they sowed doubtful seeds in rich ground. Your sensitivity was transformed into proof of instability by them. Your spiritual talents were reframed as harmful illusions. However, they were also engaging in a darker activity while manipulating your reputation. They were actively extracting from you. They were fueled by every tear you shed in bewilderment. They gained strength from every restless night spent wondering what you did wrong. They had picked up outdated customs that ought to have remained hidden. They were skilled at drawing vitality from other people's misery. The charges against you were well written. To make everything credible, they combined falsehoods and facts in just the right amounts. They exploited your weaknesses and turned them into weapons. The moment you spoke up about your difficulties was proof of your instability. Your emotional outburst was evidence of your frailty. To hang you, they turned your candor into rope. You recall the murmurs and how the discussions changed as you got closer. When you stepped into areas that used to welcome you, the abrupt hush descended like a curtain. That icy loneliness crept in like ice, and you could feel it in your bones. However, you were unable to pinpoint the source. The puppet master was not seen as they pulled strings from their trusted location. This was no accident. Your spiritual DNA contains traits that made you a special choice. They sought access to something in your soul's blueprint in your lineage. Perhaps it's old knowledge. Perhaps it's a link to worlds they were unable to access. Perhaps they needed to destroy your heart's purity in order to finish a ritual they had been working on for years. At first, the community gradually turned against you. Suddenly, friends who had pledged allegiance found reasons to justify their actions. The invitations stopped coming in. Without knowing what crime you had allegedly committed, you felt the chill wind of public condemnation. Your accuser, however, was standing in the middle of that same group, taking in compassion and support for dealing with someone as challenging as you. They were excellent in their function. The frightened mentor, the worried elder, and the hesitant person who has to deliver the terrible news about your character. They even cried convincingly, and others consoled them since they had to reveal you. However, each rip was planned. Each sigh was predetermined. In reality, every prayer they said for your recovery was a disguised curse. Let me now explain the nature of false allegations, which are more profound than most people realize. Someone isn't only lying when they accuse an innocent person, particularly a selected one. They are trying to commit spiritual murder. They are attempting to destroy your soul, your mission, your divine calling. And it almost worked for you. Nearly. You began to question yourself. Perhaps they were correct. Perhaps you were the issue. Perhaps you couldn't see anything in yourself, but everyone else saw. That uncertainty about oneself was poison, cautiously given in dosages intended to immobilize rather than kill. They wanted you to be alive but useless, to breathe but not to live, to exist but not to flourish. It was like being buried alive in the solitude. Though you couldn't get there, you could see the world going on above you. Even if you couldn't participate in, you could hear connections and laughs taking place without you. You were a ghost moving through your own existence, there but unacknowledged, seen but invisible. All because someone wanted someone to blame for their own sin. Something else was going on when they believed they were ruining you. The assault served as a catalyst for your metamorphosis, according to the universe. You were destroying something you didn't need with each lie they said about you. In reality, everybody who deserted you was taken away for your safety. You were being redirected toward your actual route by each door that banged shut. You remained intact. Their first surprise was that you bowed. You made a mistake. You didn't break even though you sobbed in the dark. Rather, you began to acquire skills you were unaware you had. Your instincts become razor acute. You started having prophetic dreams. You began to see through previously unseen veils. Upgrading your spiritual operating system was painful. In actuality, the false allegations were exposing the truth, just not the truth your accuser had in mind. When the throng dispersed, they showed who would support you. They made clear whose affection was genuine and whose was conditional. They showed you that you were stronger than you had ever realized. They disclosed that you had pals in worlds that were invisible to the naked sight. Something was keeping watch over you in your darkest hours when the burden of unjustified judgment seemed insurmountable. Call it cosmic awareness, ancestors, or angels. You didn't give up entirely because of something. It wasn't weakness to beg for aid. Something whispered, hold on when everything in you wanted to let go. That was the refusal of God to allow its chosen one to fall. However, they persisted in the belief that increasing strain would eventually cause you to break. While you were asleep, they put forth vigorous attacks. They spoke your name while performing rites. They attempted to shackle your destiny, stifle your blessings, and bind your talents. They failed to realize that each strike was really bringing forth more of your latent strength. You're more than simply a person. You weren't. And the portions of you that had been dormant since birth were being awakened by their attack. Promote this video to help other selected individuals discover this truth if you found yourself in this message. Let's discuss what was going on in the spiritual world. You couldn't see the courts that were meeting while you were physically struggling for your life. They were collecting evidence from dimensions other than the third. Your tears were being gathered as evidence. Every desperate plea you said was being captured on tape as proof. Cosmic law itself was constructing the case, not human hands. Your accused believed they were using human rules to play a game. They believed that the best weapons were social manipulation and reputation. They were unaware that they were setting off universal rules that are impossible to circumvent, influence, or bribe. A person who gives false testimony against a selected person enters into a lifelong contract with repercussions. The cosmic court thereafter underwent a change. Someone passed a threshold. Perhaps it was too high of tier. Perhaps it happened when they went for someone else, someone who was even more defenseless. Perhaps the universe just decided that enough was enough, but their defenses began to crumble. The barrier that had protected them from harm started to crumble. Little things were the first. Midsmon, they would lose their stream of thinking. For some folks, their appeal wore off. A narrative that didn't quite make together was questioned. Then the fissures became wider. Old victims began to locate one another. Discussions were placed in parking lots. Unaccountable patterns started to appear. The unsettling reality started to seep out like water through a dam. Drops first, followed by streams and floods. Individuals began sharing notes of their interactions with this individual. A pattern emerged from seemingly disparate stories. The new light of communal understanding made previously explained behaviors seem ominous. In locations they believed to be safe, someone discovered actual, tangible proof. Documents hidden beneath picture frames. Perhaps they believed they had removed digital traces. Perhaps after years of keeping a secret too big to bear alone, someone finally spoke out. After the first domino fell, the others followed suit. However, the proof was not only tangible. People began to recall previously repressed or forgotten information. Things that didn't make sense at the time started to make sense. Strange, yet innocuous behaviors turned out to be deliberate manipulation. The haze of deceit was dissipating, and a terrible sight was revealed. Now, the same people who denounced you are looking at this individual in terror. They're coming to the realization that they were duped. They welcomed a monster and threw away an innocent. They're being consumed by guilt. Some people are upset over being duped. Some are afraid about what more they could have overlooked. They're all repulsed. On a communal level, you want to know what distaste really looks like. It goes beyond angry words and turned noses. It's the total depletion of energy that used to keep someone going. Power came from the severing of unseen cables. The collective unconscious determines that a person is no longer deserving of the safety that comes from being accepted by the group. This disdain is being felt by your accuser from all sides. Former fans are now removing pictures, putting distance between them, and acting as if they never knew this individual. People who used to believe what they said now become physically ill when they think about how they were duped. As individuals rush to distance themselves from the tainted relationship, the past is being revised in real time. This individual's spiritual powers have betrayed them. Dark beings are mercenary by nature. You see, whoever feeds them, they serve. And they turn on their previous master when the food supply is cut off. They're circling the same devils they sent after you. Betrayed and hungry, their evenings are turning into nightmares. Feeling watched, they awaken in the wee hours of the morning. In their peripheral vision, shadows move. Inexplicably, their health is deteriorating. Money vanishes. Relationships break down. Anything they come into contact with turns to ash. This has nothing to do with karma in some far-off future existence. With same-day delivery, this is karma. They're starting to exhibit the outward signs of their spiritual decline. Now look into their eyes. Others were robbed of the brightness that seemed to shine there once. And now that there is no longer any thievery, all that is left is darkness. Despite their efforts to keep up look, their skin seems to be gray. Their once powerful voice now wavers and breaks. Like water dripping from a shattered vessel, the illusory authority is evaporating. The police may now get involved. They committed more than simply a spiritual crime. There are actual crimes, victims, and proof. The protection they received because of their status is meaningless. Their name is discussed in the rooms where judgments about people's freedom are decided when the truth is presented with receipts. Investigations tend to reveal more than they were originally looking for. One victim causes another. 10 crimes are revealed by one. The extent of this individual's actions is growing like pond ripples, and the public's reaction becomes more disgusted with every new discovery. People are wondering how they could have overlooked something so large, so sinister, and so obviously hidden. Let's now discuss you, because you're rising while they're sinking. Every falsehood about you is being shown to be untrue. Apologies are coming from people, but you've changed. The person they left behind is no longer there. Your soul was purged by the flames that made you. You discovered something better, therefore you no longer need their approval. You discovered who you are. Not only have your presence come back, they have increased in number. Masks may now be seen through with X-ray accuracy. Like reading Braille with your spirit, you can sense the truth underlying the words. Their attempted suppression or theft of spiritual gifts has transformed into something they never could have predicted. You're evolving into the person you were always intended to be. And the pressure that created the diamond was the only thing they attacked. Your sense of vindication goes beyond simple self-gratification. It's cellular. The trauma your body stored throughout the assault is being released. Your nervous system is getting back into balance. Your energy field has been squeezed by poor judgment and is now returning to its original size. You're actually becoming more like yourself every day. Instead of the old doors striving to reopen, new ones are opening. Brand new ones with your name illuminated on them. Possibilities that call for precisely the knowledge you acquired from this experience. People that connect with your new frequency are attracted to you. You are now being sought after by your true soul family. That the erroneous links have been removed. The coincidences that occur all around you are not coincidental. Every positive thing that comes your way is restitution for what was taken. They're the universe's way of saying, I see you. I've always seen you. And now everyone else sees you too. Your involuntary investment in pain is compounded by every blessing. However, another thing is taking place. Your narrative is turning into a remedy for other people. Your survival gives hope to others who have experienced similar things. Due to the exposure of this predator, children are being safeguarded. Because you persevered long enough to see justice being done, future victims will be spared. Beyond your own path, there was a reason for your suffering. All throughout the world, spiritual groups are feeling the effects of this exposure. People who blindly believed leaders are now being questioned. Safeguards are being put in place by communities. Healthy discernment is taking the place of the gullible trust that permitted these breaches. By just surviving the storm, you've unintentionally turned into a lighthouse. The laws of what is conceivable are being rewritten in your survival tale. Those who believed that false allegations were grounds for execution are now realizing that there is hope for resurrection. This is the last triumph of truth for those who thought falsehoods were stronger than truth. You're a live example of how the cosmos always prevails when it plays the long game. The attacker may make an effort to get in touch. To calm their own conscience, they will seek forgiveness. They may give bribes on false pretenses of regret. They may attempt to take advantage of your sympathy and try to control you again. Don't participate. They're now dealing with their karma. Their involvement is not necessary for your restoration. You'll sense the old programming attempting to come back to life when they reach out, which they will. The part of you that has been educated to see the best in others, to forgive, and to offer them second opportunities. It's not a sign of weakness. That's what you're good at. However, being strong also entails understanding when to avoid poison, even when it is offered with excuses. There will be some individuals from your past who really want to make apologies. Make use of your improved judgment to distinguish between genuine regret and expedient regret. Your limits will be respected by those who really care. If you need distance or decide not to reconnect, they will understand. Their desire for forgiveness is less important than your peace of mind. Some folks can't manage your elevation, you'll notice. They like you broken. Their belief that victims remain victims is challenged by your rehabilitation. Their conviction that unfounded allegations are irreversible stains is threatened by your success. These individuals will show themselves by becoming uncomfortable around your happiness. Thank them for the clarity and let them go. You weren't chosen at random to suffer. You were positioned to reveal corruption that was destroying many people's spirits. Your readiness to put up with unfounded accusations served as the impetus for widespread healing. There is no victim in you. You are a spiritual warrior who prevailed in a conflict that most people are unaware even existed, nor are the gifts that are currently activating in you random. They are instruments for your next task. The capacity to see through dishonesty, the strength to stand for oneself without breaking, and the discernment to recognize whether someone is crying or using a weapon. They're not just for your safety. They are in place to keep those who could come into contact with you safe. Whether you like it or not, you're taking on a role of protector. People will be attracted to you because of their tales of betrayal and false accusations. Their experiences will be validated just by your presence. They will feel empowered to trust in their own vindication if you survive. You are now a living example of divine justice. Strange-seeming occurrences may occur to you. Prophetic visions can materialize in a few days. Information that you shouldn't know. healing powers that come into play when someone is in dire need of assistance. Don't be alarmed by these changes. You were born with them, suppressed for a while, but never completely eradicated. In fact, the assault hastened your spiritual development. The people who have eyes may observe the changes in your energy field. A signature that reads, "Tried by fire and emerged unburned," is now carried by you. You are recognized by other spiritual fighters as one of their own. You deserve a seat at tables you were unaware existed. Your combat wounds serve as credentials in important fields. You're going to get compensation from the cosmos that will make your head spin. Double the amount that was taken, not merely giving it back. Every door that has been closed is opening wider. Every mischance is being replaced by a better one. People will be wondering what lottery you won because of the gifts that are coming your way. You'll know the truth, however. Blood, tears, and a brief social death were the price you paid for these benefits. It's not only monetary remuneration. Your awareness is being upgraded in ways that money cannot purchase. Knowledge downloads that often take a lifetime to get. Access to dimensions that are unknown to most individuals. You are receiving tools that will benefit you both now and in the future. See how their legacy compares to yours. Everything they erected on false pretenses is falling apart. Their name has come to represent corruption and treachery. Your name is being cleared and promoted in the interim. As an illustration of divine justice, people will research your case. Your tale will be cited as evidence that truth does win out in the end. Your paths are diverging more and more dramatically every day. You rise into the heaven you preserve by integrity, while others go down into the hell they made for others. The monster is revealed when their mask comes off. The light that they attempted to take shines on your actual face. The inversion is so thorough that it seems to have been written by celestial poets. You are no longer surrounded by the same spiritual protection. It's not your previous naive cloak of innocence. It's the well-deserved armor of someone who has endured hell and emerged with fire. Ancestors who respect your bravery are watching over you. Angels who saw your honesty under duress are watching over you. There are forces all around you that acknowledge you as one of their own. This new defense is clever. It is aware of the distinction between a sincere approach and a deceptive one. It diverts those with ulterior motives and lets in those who really care about you. Being duped again is not a concern for you. You now have a military-grade security system. Here's where I reveal to you the unsettling reality of what they were really doing. Energy collection was just one aspect of it. They belong to an organized group. They're not the only ones. Executing the same spiritual Ponzi scam while standing at several altars and donning different masks. They are innocent traders. Their religion is their feast. They preach prosperity while making money off of suffering. Although the network they are a part of is extensive and old, it is also fading. One predator's feeding area has been disturbed by your survival. A whole parasitic ecology has been harmed by you. Your story is resonating with other victims who are identifying with it. Conversations and whispers are becoming louder. Patterns are emerging from the separate instances. What you believed to be personal was really a component of a systemic issue that your experience revealed. People are using your case as a model to better understand their own situations. The particular strategies that were used against you are being recognized as being taken from a playbook. These predators follow the same pattern, which includes energy harvesting, isolation, gaslighting, and reputational damage. However, the recipe is no longer effective now that it is known. The individual who attacked you is becoming older very quickly. If you can look at recent pictures, their sole source of youth was the life power they stole from others. They are wilting like fruit in the absence of that source. They were taken for their beauty. They had vampire vigor. They are now using compound interest to pay the amount. They're going crazy too. Their mentality is being broken by the cognitive dissonance of being revealed. Being recognized for who they really are is triggering mental fractures since they have spent so much time living under a fake identity. They often check locks because they are paranoid and see danger everywhere. They're not managing it well, and the hunter has turned into the prey. Their mental condition is disintegrating in a predictable way. Denial comes first, loud and violent. After haggling and attempting to downplay their actions, they became enraged and attacked everybody in their path. Then, when they discover their previous strategies are no longer effective, they collapse. They are now in the middle of this cycle, descending toward a bottom they never imagined they would reach. Look at you, however. There's a brightness inside you that cannot be stolen or imitated. Your genuineness originates from the bottom of your heart. Your strength comes from enduring hardship and turning it into knowledge. You don't have to pretend or act. You just are. And without trying, that's enough to light up spaces in men's hearts. It's not a symbolic glow. Literally, people's perceptions of you are changing. Remarks on how you seem more youthful, healthy, and radiant. That goes beyond just recuperating from stress. That's the restoration of your true frequency. At your original blueprint, you're vibrating once again. It's also lovely in ways that go beyond appearances. Without you doing anything particularly noteworthy, your presence is turned into a healing force for others. People who speak with you feel better. They leave your business with a sense of validation and understanding. For many who have been hurt by similar betrayals, you have turned into a walking haven. You're not engaging in this behavior. You're that thing. The past they attempted to ensnare you in is nothing like the future that is unfolding before you. You're going to enter areas that were previously inaccessible. In only a few minutes, you'll be able to identify yourself as family. You're going to learn that all you lost served as a prelude to everything you're going to get. These new contacts you're making aren't just happening. Your survival activates these soul contracts. Those who wanted to join your life but waited for you to finish this hardship. Chances that needed you to possess the precise knowledge that this experience gave you. Only those who have been put to the test by fire and come out unscathed may enter through those doors. Some people will refer to it as luck. Some will refer to it as karma. It is often referred to as divine intervention. You will recognize it as the end of a cycle that began the moment they chose to target you. They've tallied every tear. All the prayers have been answered. Every depressing situation has been turned into strength for the future. The fact that you're not even attempting to destroy them is what disturbs them the most. You're just being true to yourself, and their falsehoods are being broken down like acid by that truth. Their judgment is your existence in its heightened form. Their punishment is your success. Since it demonstrates that all they tried fell short of its ultimate goal, your calm is their pain. You're so concentrated on your ascent that you're not enjoying their failure. You're too busy getting blessings to waste energy on getting even. Your future is too brilliant to be ignored. Therefore, you're not looking back. They suffer more from this disregard for their destiny than from any physical assault. You became indestructible despite their attempts to break you. They attempted to keep you quiet, yet mountaintops are shouting your tale. You turned into a sun that burns anybody who flies too near with malice, even if they sought to take your light. You are not who they created you to be. You are what you created while enduring what they endured. Keep in mind our starting point as we complete this circle. At this moment, someone is shaking with fear. It's not you, however. Actually, it was never. In masquerade as the sacrifice, you were always the storm. You were always the victim disguised as the judge. You were always the one selected to reveal what was to be revealed. They've turned their shield around. Their harvest has not been successful. They have taken off their mask. They have escaped their protection. Everything they constructed is on fire, and the monster in the smoke is seen to everyone. However, you find yourself standing in the same fire, unburned, unaltered, and changed into something they never anticipated. There is more to the general distaste for your accuser than simply social rejection. The immune system of humans is reacting to a virus. What doesn't belong is rejected by its awareness itself. Through the medium of human feeling, the cosmos is correcting its path. It's vital to be disgusted. It offers protection. It guarantees that this specific predation pattern is less likely to be successful in the future. In the meanwhile, it is as strong when everyone acknowledges your innocence. It's a fundamental recalibration of how reality is seen, not merely individuals admitting, "Oops, we were wrong." By educating others to question authority, believe diverse signs, and follow their gut feelings when someone appears too good to be true, you are validating yourself. The unsettling reality has been revealed. The charges were false. The criminal was the accuser. You were the innocent one. The guilty are revealed. The verdict is definitive. The total reversal has occurred. For this, you were selected. You made it through this. You went beyond this. And now the truth is known to everybody. Your vindication is cosmic, not just personal. Your recovery is spiritual as well as material. Your elevation is lasting, not just transient. Through your tale, the cosmos has communicated, and its meaning is evident. The truth wins out. Justice is served. The selected ones ascend. Now is your moment. You are vindicated by this. Your crown is being returned to you with interest. Put on nicely. It was gained in fire. You are no longer disturbed by the unsettling reality that has come to light. It's freeing. It's confirming. It's the key that opened your prison and allowed you to realize your full potential. Hello, this is Mike Curie interrupting your regularly scheduled show for a little while. We are the creators of the Astral Atom Network and the Obsidian Inner Order. We've finished being polite. Our battle is a spiritual one. You are aware of it. We are aware of it. And we are dedicated to this task full-time. Blood from fourth-dimensional archons is what I'm craving. However, we need the ammo. Listen, you're doing more than simply helping us when you join the Inner Order. They never intended for you to have access to these special tools. Training in psychic self-defense, focused personal intelligence, and spiritual warfare techniques they scrape off the internet. Additionally, we only meet in private on Zoom once a week. Genuine gnosis, genuine family, and real power. No filters or filler. It's a 360 degrees victory. You get what you need. We are allowed to continue fighting. So instead of simply watching, give this video a like and tell everyone you know about it. Now, join the Inner Order of Obsidians. Let's complete the task at hand. The description contains a link. Let's go crazy. Recall this instance. Recall what it's like to be on the other side of injustice. After forced bitterness, recall the taste of vindication. Remind yourself to keep moving forward and not get bogged down in the past. You deserve all the nice things in life. You have fully paid for benefits that will astound you. The universe remembers those it has selected. Even while it may put them to the test, purify them, and subject them to seemingly insurmountable challenges, justice is always served. What was taken is always returned. Those who maintain their integrity under duress are always elevated. This cosmic rule is shown in your life. The person who accused you believed they were playing a game that they could win. They believed charges to be unassailable weapons. They believed that your sensitivity was a sign of weakness. They believed that you would always be isolated. They were mistaken on all counts. They are now discovering the consequences of attacking heaven's chosen. They were never as strong as they seemed to be, which is a troubling reality. They borrowed their authority. They had their knowledge taken. They had artificial light. Performance was their passion. They were fake in every way. And just by being with them, you are the real money that revealed their scam. The truth has come to light and cannot be contained. People's revulsion isn't going away. The difference between who they said you were and who you really are isn't going away. The sense of vindication you're feeling isn't fleeting. This is a long-term shift. This is justice that lasts. This is a metamorphosis that will last forever. You're at liberty. You're clear. You've been proven right. You have been selected. You're getting up. You're safe. You are fortunate. You are at the right place at the right time. Having made it through whatever you needed to in order to become the person you were destined to be. You're free now that the unsettling truth is out. What the ancient books refer to as the mark of the tested is what you have developed. Most people cannot see it, but those who work in spiritual worlds can. It identifies you as someone who overcame a false allegation. It is an indication that you have passed through the refiner's furnace and come out on top. For all eternity, this mark serves as both your shield and your badge of pride. People are learning something important about their own judgment from the disdain they feel against your accuser. Without uttering a word, you have turned become their instructor. Your validation is making them reevaluate everything, improve their intuition, and believe their instincts when something doesn't seem right. By just living, you have unintentionally elevated the communal awareness. By exposing your accuser, you're producing a documentary about deceit that will be studied by others, not in books or movies, but in the live memory of communities that are learning to recognize predators that are lurking in plain sight. It's becoming widely known how you were singled out, how falsehoods were disseminated, and how isolation was created. Because of what you went through, future targets will be able to identify similar patterns. There are skills in the repair that you haven't yet learned. You'll discover that you already know some things. You will be aware of danger before it materializes. Soul family will be immediately recognizable to you. Opportunities that seem impossible to pass up will come your way. This is neither a coincidence or a case of luck. For those selected who successfully finish their trials, this is the universe's remuneration program. Observe how your very presence begins to cure others. Just being close to you will make others who have had similar injuries feel understood. The medicine of surviving betrayal and emerging victorious is carried by your frequency. Others may get healing from your experience without you sharing it. You are now a living example of how total devastation may be followed by total restoration. The most fundamental fact is that, even in your worst hours, you were never really alone. Before you ever realized you would need it, the cosmos was recording everything and getting ready for your vindication. On your behalf, every tear was turned into a weapon. Every prayer served as ammo in an invisible conflict. Even when you felt abandoned, you were being defended. Where your true purpose starts is where your tale concludes. Everything up to this point has been a prelude to who you will become. By surviving false accusations, the chosen one becomes the guardian who keeps others from going through what they did. Just by being who you are today, without any effort or goal,